Hello everyone, this is the LEGO Ninjago Season 11 Fire Fang set. I've got to tell you, I am feeling a little bit duped right now because this doesn't meet my expectations based on what I saw in the official pictures and even on the box art. As a matter of fact, let's look at the box right now. And when I look at this, I see a snake thing that looks like it's based off a cobra. It's got this hood around the edges, and I see sand blue, I see black, I see dark red, and it kind of looks like they're suggesting that this is transparent orange. Now, I like the transparent orange because this is supposed to be a fire snake. It's supposed to be essentially like the Ninjago equivalent of a Chima legend beast for the bad guys being pyro snakes. So all this is supposed to be flame down here, and it doesn't look like flame. It looks kind of flat, dark red and sand blue. Looks a little retro and uninteresting. Now, it's a little bit more interesting looking here on this picture, mostly because they've added in these extra visual effects, which are more prominent even here than they were on the front. They have them on the front as well, but all this flame shown off to the side is not actually there. This just still doesn't look like flames, but it looks like there's a suggestion that there are multiple colors of red here. It makes me question, or made me question a little bit exactly how this is going to work out. But when I look at the real thing, this is not what I was expecting at all. Most of this is transparent, or at least translucent, almost transparent. Light goes straight through it, except for a little bit of that different red, which is just a little bit less transparent, a little bit more opaque by comparison. But this is just, it's not what I saw on the box. Gotta say, it's much better. Look at that. It's just very bright and colorful, where in the pictures it was looking kind of flat and dull to me. And things actually get better as you go down, as you come around the length of the body and down into the tail here. All of these rock style pieces that are very textured, that are done in just regular transparent orange, have all these nice facets, and they refract light in nice ways, and it looks very glittery, and it's easy to imagine that being like lava, either just kind of pooled up on top or ready to spill off on the edges. And it's fairly consistent around here. I actually like how the tail is done because a lot of it is suspended in the air, and they've got this gear back here so you can make it kind of wag its tail around. And it gets better than that because I don't know if you can hear in the background, but there's not just a clanging sound from the plastic pieces hitting each other. There's actually a rattle here. Yeah, cobras don't have rattles, but cobras aren't made of fire and lava either. This is something from fantasy. This is actually cool. It's a rattle. Sorry. There are just a couple little tile pieces, one by one round tile pieces that they've hidden inside of there that rattle around. Cool. I like that. It's just a little extra added thing. A couple stud shooters back here. You don't need to use them for anything unless you just want to fire off a couple of studs and then lose them. If you want to use them, go ahead, but you don't need to. The shaping of the body is actually pretty good for something that's able to stand up on its own without using any side pieces, without using any cheater pieces. It's pretty darn narrow at the base to be able to hold itself up. It's not the smoothest of shape here. I mean, you can see the transition. Oops, that's not quite pushed in all the way. You can see the transition from horizontal to sideways building right there, and then it goes to an angle. But it's not bad, and they definitely try to smooth that out a bit. I think it could have been a little bit better here, but I'm okay with it. I'm actually okay with it. I like some of the smaller details that are built in here with some of the small trans orange pieces. Another of the larger pieces here, which gives you a lot of nice highlights as well. The use of the sand blue color is interesting. It's different. It's kind of brave. Feels a little bit late 90s to me or something. Just with the use of a very different color against the brights, but I think it's okay. There's a lot of contrast there. The head is not bad. There's one sticker here on the top. This tongue is actually pretty cool for a fire tongue, but this is a little bit flat to me, especially when I close up the mouth. You can see how there's just not a whole lot of thickness there. I wish that there was a little bit more thickness, but there is a decent amount of posability here. Maybe it looks actually a little bit better when you angle it down. Yeah, it does. It looks better when you angle it down. A little bit like that. But it's all brick built with the exception of the vinyl pieces on this, so that's a good thing. No use of, super large specialized molds, so I have to respect that. The vinyl pieces allow you to have this flexibility, which is actually really cool. Makes it seem a little bit alive as you move the whole thing around. There's not a lot more articulation beyond that, beyond just the head and swinging the tail around. But in all, this is actually pretty cool. Like I said, way cooler than I thought it was going to be based on the pictures. They should have done better for the pictures. There's one other small sticker that's used just right there for a little bit of the transition. That's sorry, it's not focusing right now, but it's just right there. That's completely unnecessary. If you hate stickers, leave that off. Also leave these off. They have these symbols on there. I think they will have meaning. I haven't seen the entire season as of the time of the recording of this video. Not sure it's even come out anywhere in the world in its entirety just yet, but I've been watching as much as I can up to this point. But just as far as how this thing looks, leave the stickers off if they bug you, because they're really not adding a whole lot. I think that's my favorite sticker right here on the top of the head, on the whole thing. And then up top, you have this throne here, which is absolutely not inspired whatsoever, not one bit, by the Game of Thrones Iron Throne. Not at all. No, with those swords sticking out from it, all vertical like that. Nah, there's no connection whatsoever. It's 100% an original idea. I don't care. I think it looks cool. I don't care if it's a direct copy, a direct ripoff. I don't care if the designer thinks they actually came up with the idea originally. I'm sure there's some Game of Thrones influence. I don't care. I like it. I think it looks cool. I don't like how it's always angled back. I appreciate the fact that the base is angled forward to offset that a bit, so that Asphira here can stand almost straight up. That's angled pretty nicely, but I wish that there was a way to get this entire snake to angle its forward body, or its upper body, I guess, forward a little bit more to make this top part level. These are also from the same vinyl sheet, and they look pretty cool. Nicely printed. You can angle them out, back if you want, make it look like the whole thing is actually moving. A little bit of air movement past it. So yeah, that's pretty good. The whole thing is pretty good. I like pleasant surprises. I really like genuine and thorough pleasant surprises, because I did not have high hopes for this at all. And the more I look at it, the more I get it, the more I like it. Yeah, like from this angle right here, it looks even more rounded. I think that angling the head down helped a lot with that. But just that S-curve serpent shape right in there is working pretty well for me. Oh yeah, and you can take the throne off, and Asphira is now angling forward a little bit awkwardly, but you can adjust the base so that she stands up, which is good. By the way, I'm sure somebody will be mad at me if I don't mention this. These chains are chains. So, yeah, they get held by servants who are controlling this thing and guiding it along. Ooh, look at that. It's kind of alive. Asphira herself is probably my favorite figure from this entire season. The new pearl gold is just such a good gold. It's one of the better golds I think that you'll find in mass-produced toys these days. It's not fully metallic, but for a pearly metal flake-based gold, the hue is just good. They really got it right this time. It was too orangish before. I like the shaping. I like the dual molding of the head, and this particular version for Asphira in particular, having the gold just works out really well. And the leg, whatever you call that. Would it be even legs on? I guess technically it would be legs, because these are bipedal serpentoid things, these pyro snakes. So I guess that's the leg area. Anyway, that is cool. With the marbling in it between just a regular opaque yellow and the trans orange. Node 2 will be exactly the same because it is kind of randomly marbled together. And she's got a nice weapon. I believe it's unique to her as well with that color scheme, that particular color scheme. With also the Forbidden Spinjitzu scroll that's coming out from it. Not the best look for that, but a cool thing just in and of itself. And it's a collectible, but you don't have to collect all the sets because every single set that comes with any Forbidden Spinjitzu scroll has all 3 of them. Really nice torso under there. It's a shame that a lot of the detail is hidden much of the time, but that's really well done. Yeah, good figure. These 2, meanwhile, are just grunts, just regular foot soldiers. The one on the left is called a Pyro Slayer, and the one on the right is a Pyro Destroyer. But they're just grunts, which is fine. It's nice to get a couple of them because you want to be able to mass basic troops, even if you don't get a ton of them. You don't want to get just one, And even though they are the basic units, still the heads look great. They do share prints for the main bodies. The copperish color that they use is interesting. It's very, very orange, but it works. And one on the left has that extra bracket on the back to match the one that's on the right, so that you can attach the fire chains to both of them. There's what the torso print looks like on the back for each. They went with just one good guy in this set, and I'm fine with that decision. It is a villain-focused set, so this works out for me. This is Kai FS, Forbidden Spinjitzu. He's got the flame dual molding as well. That's just a trans orange. The way that it's set up looks like he's got different little bits of flame and different individual sculpting of the trans areas versus the opaque areas, and it just looks really good. I think it would be better if it was more spiky, a little bit sharper, but they need to not make things too spiky in a set that's for kids, because kids. So yeah, I'm good with it. The prints look good to me. I think the whole thing feels a little bit classic to me. Just the style that they've gone with this season, which I appreciate. I don't have great nostalgia, but I do like the focus on the elemental color, for each, rather than going with more complex color schemes. Kai also gets a Forbidden Spinjitzu cone here, a little cyclone. So he can go in that, and then you can spin the thing. It's got some glitter in it, and the main color is trans orange with red at the base. Looks pretty cool from the top. Not as cool from the outside, but it does its job. This last thing here, well, it's a stand, a pedestal, or maybe a little bit of a wall with a clip on it, and it's holding a scepter. And as of the time of the recording of this video, I have not been able to see the full season. I don't know the significance of this, and LEGO in their official product description does not let on about what the significance is. It may be very significant, it may not be, but it's a simple build. So if you really want this scepter and it ends up being something super important, you can build it pretty easily yourself or make a substitute. It doesn't have to be this exact color scheme, but for just a little thing, this is fine. Spare parts in this set are pretty numerous, with some good things, including a generous number of extra full-on weapons that you can use, and gold pieces. Technically, these 2 studs are intentional inclusions for extra studs for the stud shooter on the tail of the main build. But you also get the other 2 Forbidden Spinjitzu scrolls, because there's only one sheet that they printed all 3 on. So again, as a collectible, it's very nice the way that they did this, because you don't have to get 3 different sets to get 3 different collectibles. So that's great. I'm very happy to have been wrong about this set. I'm very happy that it is actually a good set, at least in my opinion. You can still disagree with my updated opinion, my revised opinion, but I think that it's done pretty well. It could have been done a little bit better, especially with the brightness of the flares here of the hood for the Cobra thing with the rattle on the tail. But yeah, the build was pretty good. The tail works nicely. Everything is very sturdy for its size and its height, and it's interesting to look at. I feel like it feels good to play around with. Felt okay to put together, and I like the figures as well. The last thing to talk about then is value, and I do feel like the US price is okay, actually. Especially when you look at that price to part ratio. I mean, it's difficult to ask it's probably unreasonable to ask for more, especially these days. Inflation does exist, and this is not a set that is made of a ton of one-by-one pieces like an architecture set or anything. You get a good amount of volume here, and I thought that the large frills in vinyl, that whole large vinyl sheet that's included for a number of things here, including these and this, I thought that all that would add quite a bit to the price, but they managed to keep the price down. I do feel like if I didn't really understand what I was looking at here, and if I had not built it and I just kind of looked at it from a distance in its finished form, I might say I'll give it $35. But they're asking 40. If you can get this for $5 off, then I think you're in a great range. But the asking price, I think, is reasonable as a starting point. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied here, and I think that's about all I have to say. So, if you want to see the build of this, the full build process, you can see my pure build, which shows everything in real time with just the sounds of me putting the pieces together. Or you can check out the speed build, which has musical accompaniment, but gets you through the whole process much more quickly. Choose your destiny, choose your speed. I will show you links to both right now, and I'll talk to you again soon.